Charles Haley. You listen to Nothing But Niners.
This is Kyle Juszczyk, and you're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, sweeps to his right, gets to the 20. He's at the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks a third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst breaking tackle after tackle, sweeps down the sideline. Throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell intercepted. The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption. Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown. No greater redemption.
The San Francisco 49ers. We can do whatever we want.
You're on mute, Mike. Mike, you're muted. You're on mute. I got you. Click, click, boom. I can't hear you. Your mic is muted. It's showing me your mic is muted. Like I can see it on the screen. Jedi said, Croc always does this. I know, my bad. My bad.
Right, here we go. Mic check, mic check. You got me now?
Yeah. Now it's still showing you're muted, but you're not muted though. But yeah, we're good now. I said it still shows like the little emblem shows you're on mute.
Are you serious?
You're not though. You're not, but it does show that.
Uh-oh. We got some technical difficulties going on here, y'all.
We good. We gonna rock through this,
Something wrong here. Uh-oh. I got to work out some technical difficulties. This is not good.
Oh man, you sound good. Everything sounds good though.
Hold on. You still see the other video going? The countdown?
Nah. Everybody, they can see us. They can hear you. Everything is good.
Oh, they can see us. We good? They saying we good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I think we good. Y'all let us know in the chat if y'all can hear it. Y'all can see us. We should be good. I don't know what's going on. But I apologize about that, y'all. All right, here we go, man. Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boys, Mike and Eric Crocker. We're here to bring you guys a fun-filled episode. Now, guys, hopefully there's no problems. If there are, I apologize in advance. Oh, man.
It sounds like you have a YouTube going in the back. All right, so we're gonna let Mike handle that. Obviously, y'all see what's going on right now. We're live streaming on my channel, on the Eric Crocker channel. We got Nothing But Niners going on as well. My guy Mike Andrews, he is at Mike Andrews 83 on Twitter, and of course, man, you can find me on Twitter at Eric_Crocker. Is everybody still using Twitter? Because you got Twitter, you got Threads, you got all that good stuff. Anyways, and we're gonna have a good show here. We're gonna talk about a lot of what I was seeing at practice today. He's gonna ask me a bunch of questions. And there was a lot of action, man. You had some fights, you had some throws, you had some deep balls, you had some touchdowns or a touchdown. You had some guys standing out. You got a receiver that is he kind of a sleeper with what's going on at the receiver group, like a guy that people maybe didn't really think much of when the 49ers made that signing. So we're gonna get into all that. And but yeah, Mike, you know what I'm saying? Right now he got some little technical difficulties, but he should be back soon. How's everybody doing? We see Steve Mullen. Steve Mullen says using X. So, all right. I don't even think I have control over the comments. So I can't put the comments up because we are technically streaming on the Nothing But Niner account. But do we call it X or do we call it Twitter? Because that's a big one. I don't know. On my phone, everything the app it just says X, and I just see an X. But I still keep saying Twitter. So yeah. But anyways, how's everybody doing, man? I'm going through the comments. Man, y'all got questions? Go ahead, fire the questions away. Again, Mike will be joining us. He kind of went away for a second, but he'll be back soon. And we're gonna have a great show. Me and Mike, we always have a great show. We have a good time. You know, it's gonna be loose. We're gonna be chilling, all that good stuff. All right. Oh, here we go. Mike is back. Mike is back. I think it looks like it's loading. All right. So we're gonna let him do his thing. But here we go. Let's start looking at some of these questions here until Mike is ready and situated. Keep it real. If Purdy was placed on PUP with having to miss 4 games, that's leaving Lance as a starter. 49ers started 1-3, and Lance with some cheeks. Fans are gonna blame Kyle and defend Lance. Huh? Good question, Mark. I would say if that were to happen and Trey Lance started 1-3, they probably just say he's just not good enough. I can't speak for everyone, but I'll speak for myself. My thing with wanting to see Trey Lance play isn't so much about I think he's this great quarterback or anything like that. I just want to know, like, and more than because think about it, right? When we make judgments on any quarterback, typically it's you get a lot more time than just this guy started 2 games or 3 games or even 4 games. I think the interesting thing with Trey Lance is he hasn't completed back-to-back games in his career. So it's just like, I just want to see him play. It don't mean that I think he's going to be great, but I would like to see that. So, and if you started 1-3, then at least you'd have more evidence that maybe he's just not very good. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that would be on Kyle. Now, you got some people that they might blame Kyle regardless. Hey, was I able to do that? Who did that? Who put this up there? Look, y'all, I don't know what's going on. It's like some ghost stuff going on right now. Again, I don't know where Mike is. He'll be in soon. But okay, we got Jose Batista on the screen right now. He said, if the season started on Sunday, based on the few practices, who would you see starting? That's tough because really I've only been to 2 practices. So, I don't want to be somebody that make, predetermined judgment or anything like that. But I'm going to say some things about what I have seen at the quarterback position. Again, I know we're going to dive into this more, but Trey and Brock, not Trey and Brock, Trey and Sam Darnold, they both look good. So there's a lot of people that's like, oh, hell no, I'm not buying into this Sam Darnold hype. I ain't saying it's hype. Sam Darnold might be trash. He might be ass. I don't know. But with what I've seen in practice, looks good to me. I don't know. Now it's just practice. We've seen him in live games, a lot of live games, 55 starts or whatever it is. But what I saw, I've seen over the last couple of days, look like a cool quarterback. My sound is going now? Yo. What is going on?
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
They said my sound is going now.
All right, here we go. Mic check. I think we good. I can hear you. I think they can hear me. I had to jump on from my phone. My tablet started acting up. It was working all day. I've been practicing, trying to get ready for all this, man. I apologize, everybody, man. But we are here. We're going to get through these technical difficulties. We got some stuff to go over and everything, man. Croc, you good? You ready?
I'm good. I'm ready, man. Let's do it, baby.
I heard you knock out the intros and everything already, so I'm not going to go over all that. They know where to find us. They know who it is. We back in the building, y'all. So we're going to just have some fun with this episode right now. Now, guys, I want to ask Eric Crocker to be my guest today because, from my understanding, he had the privilege of being there at camp today. Is that correct?
Yep, today and yesterday.
All right, so that's what I'm talking about, man. So we're gonna get into a couple of things that supposedly happened today from you. All right, if you're okay with that, I want to pick your brain about a couple of things here, man. So first, let me just start with your generic takeaways from the first day of padded practices, man. I say that this is the time of the year when we separate the pit bulls from the wolves, right? Pit bull is cool, but the wolves hunting packs, and you're gonna find out the team mentality once the pads come on. It's not just 1v1, and they running around in shorts. Right now, we get to do a little bit more. They're still not supposed to be taking people to the ground. But what was your biggest takeaway from today, man? Some of your takeaways, not just one.
I would say overall, like if you just kind of look at a completion percentage, and I try not to go off of that. I try to go more off of like feel, right? Like what am I seeing? Like what does it feel like? But I thought the quarterbacks were definitely efficient. They've been like that both practices that I was at. You know, I can't speak too much on what happened prior. Obviously, you see numbers that people throw around. I have learned, especially today, there's a lot of context that is missing sometimes with the numbers that when they just post he completed, I don't know, 4 out of 8 passes or whatever. You know, there's a lot that they're missing there. But overall, I thought the quarterbacks were solid. I thought that the receivers over the last couple of days were pretty good. Brandon Ayuk has been as advertised, so everything that you're hearing about him is true. I would say the thing that I would kind of, I don't want to say pause on, but I feel like he does this every training camp. Like Brandon Ayuk, every training camp is like, oh, he's going crazy. Oh, he's going crazy. Like people can't guard him. I think the offense with how the 49ers run it and how they utilize some of these guys and the amount of weapons that they have is just going to make it to where a guy like Ayuk, who might be a 1,400-yard receiver somewhere else, will only be a, I don't know, 1,200-yard receiver for the 49ers. So, but he's killing it. Difficult to guard. And what else really stood out? Not a whole lot outside of that. You know what I'm saying? Outside, you know, so you just have to, I know you're going to get into it and have some like legit questions for us. And once I answer those, it'll probably help us know a little bit more. You know,
Yeah, absolutely, man. 100%. So what I'm trying to do right now, I'm trying to get this back on my tablet because all my notes for the show are on my phone, but my tablet is the one that see. So you see that little spinning thing up there over my head? Ooh. All right. It looked like it's working now. So give me a second. Let me get that one off. We're gonna remove that one. We're gonna put this one back up. All right. I think we're good to go. My bad. All right, you got me now, E? Hopefully you can hear me. You can see me, right?
Yeah. You're good.
All right. I apologize about that, man. It's just weird technical difficulties happening right now. But we in here. So I got my notes. We're gonna go. I'm centered and everything. You can see me. That's what we need to see. All right. So you said that some of the quarterback stuff seems a little weird. It's being misreported, maybe misrepresented a little bit, right?
Right.
So I wanted to start the show with the quarterbacks, but before we do, man, someone named Devin Riley passed away. Do you know who that is? Who was Devin Riley to the 49ers?
Is that I don't know. I know someone passed away, buddy from Euphoria. He's from the Bay Area.
Is that was he like a Niners fan or something? Because they had his information listed on the thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it all up and see if hold on. I'm not supposed to be in there right now. So I apologize. Remove that one from the screen. All right, here we go. All right. So this was the graphic that the team posted. I wanted to go over this. You know, I always, if there's somber stuff, I want to go over it first. The 49ers organization is saddened to hear about the passing of Devin Riley and send our deepest condolences to the Collie and Riley families. Now, I wasn't 100% sure about who that was, what that meant. You know what I mean? So I wanted to start with this because I just feel like it's always important to start, start with things like this because, we want to get a little crazier during the show. You know what I mean? Like we want to turn up a little bit more. So she was, I'm looking at like a couple of different pages for this person. And, I feel like we would be a little remiss if we didn't do this. Plane victim in Wisconsin. So it looks like she was a pilot. Looks like she was like, what are the aviation shows called where they do like the synchronized flying and things like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Nah, oh no.
You never seen any of the air shows before?
Okay, yeah. Like when they fly over stadiums, or you talking
Yeah,
about when they do the
yeah.
things and they spinning and doing circles and all that type of stuff.
Right. So it seemed like that was one of them. Bruce Collie was the football player, but this was his daughter, and so that's what it's looking like. An extended family member to the Niners, and I think this shows how the Niners are one of those A+ organizations that they go out of their way to make sure that they make everybody feel loved, appreciated, and even acknowledged. Little stuff like this, the passing of a former player's daughter. We want to start with that. Also, the gentleman that you mentioned, the guy from Euphoria, he passed away, as well as Pee Wee Herman, man. Now, I posted something on my Twitter page about Pee Wee, and one of the responses I got was, "Wasn't he a pedo?" Did you know anything about that?
When you said Pee Wee Herman, that was the first thing that came to my mind.
See, so what's weird to me about that is I don't remember Pee Wee being in any of those kind of troubles. Now, I do remember Pee Wee, like the indecent exposure at an adult theater, but I never heard about him in anything with children. I never heard about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't know too much about it, but also, I mean, I've been watching this Jeffrey Epstein thing, and it's like, man, that's like the craziest thing ever as it pertains to children and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm hearing it from all different ways, but yeah, Pee Wee Herman, I do remember he was involved in something like that.
Right. So yeah, they said, see, this is what I heard too. Wasn't a pedo. He exposed himself in the theater. That's it.
Okay,
right.
So maybe he had to be registered as a sex offender. I was just talking to my wife about how, like, let's say I'm driving, right? We're on a road trip and I got to piss really bad, and I pull over to the side and I piss, and the police drive by, they can charge me with like indecent exposure or something like that, and then I would have to register as a sex offender. So
right.
And technically that would be me exposing myself.
So it sounds like that's what it was. I'm glad we got that straightened up and everything. But rest in peace to everybody who passed away. Our thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to their families, their loved ones, their friends, and anybody attached and associated with them. All right. So I wanted to start the show that way. I apologize for the technical difficulties, guys. This tablet of mine, man, it seems like if I don't start on the tablet, which is what I'm on now, if I don't start on the tablet and let it get its kinks out the way, it won't let me get back to the show. It's the weirdest thing, and this is an expensive, stupid tablet, man. But it's here, it's working now, so I'm good. We good. We're gonna have a really, really good show because I got a lot of stuff to talk about. Okay. So the pads go on. We're gonna separate the men from the boys and blah 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 blah. All those cool little cliches, right? But the first thing I want to get to before the quarterbacks was fights breaking out. Now you were there. You had a firsthand view of everything. What the hell happened on the football field today?
So if anybody's been to the practices, man, these plays, they happen pretty quick. Like they're kind of back to back to back. And whatever happened prior to the fight, I was sending a tweet off, and then all of a sudden I hear, like fights breaking out, and I look up and it's just like a huge brawl. So one, I did not see like who started it, and then also I didn't see like anything like too specific, because there were pretty much damn near the whole team, or at least half the team, was involved in this. And you see guys flying in, and I thought it was just going to stop, and it just was not stopping. It like kept going. So when it got done, I think Trey Martin like got his helmet like ripped off. So clearly he was involved to some extent, but it was extremely difficult to, like, from where I was sitting at least, to know like how it started jumping off or what exactly happened.
So from my understanding, and this is just through digging on Twitter and trying to find out exactly what happened, it seems like there were some players constantly taking offensive players down to the ground, and that's not supposed to happen. That's my limited understanding. And so finally players started fighting back, and of course Ayuk was in the mix again. From what I understand, Trey Martin was in the mix again. And it was the offensive players kind of standing up for themselves. This is weird, E, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. All week long, I've heard the defense is always ahead of the offense before the pass come on. The defense is always ahead of the offense before the pass come on. And that always felt weird to me from the outside looking in. I've never been in an NFL training camp. I've never been in a college preparing for the season or nothing like that in practices. Just high school. I feel like, from my limited high school knowledge, when there was no pads, I felt like the offense always had the upper hand. We can move better. They can't grab us. They can't touch us. I always felt like the offense had the upper hand, and when the pads came on is when the defense and the trenches really were allowed to wake up a little bit. With your experience, how do you think, if you had to say which side favored during which portion, pads versus no pads, how would you break that down?
Obviously it can vary, but ultimately, especially the higher levels you get, there's a lot more that goes into offense. And with offense, they kind of do everything. They're installed in progressions, and they start off from very basic, and then they're not really game planning against the defense. They're just kind of installing their plays and then running those. So typically it takes a little bit more time for the offense to build that like cohesiveness. Right. And that's why typically the defense, which for the most part, especially if you're not like game planning, it's just cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 6, whatever it is, we're gonna run our stuff. And those are things you've been running all your life. As opposed to offense, it just takes more moving pieces to come together. So typically that just takes a little bit longer. Right.
Okay. Yeah, they were saying that it was they said that it was the Elijah Mitchell got taken down to the ground. And that's
I don't know if that was Elijah Mitchell got banged, but it was after the fight. So the fight, the big brawl broke out, and like a few plays later, Elijah Mitchell, he got smacked. I don't remember. I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Dre Greenlaw, but he got leveled. And then I was surprised that they didn't get to scrapping again.
Right. Okay. All right. So that's that's how it all broke out. But I like to see that. I know it sounds crazy. I don't want fights. I don't want I don't want anybody getting hurt. I think it's stupid when players throw punches at helmets and pads. But I do like the aggression. I like the guys getting to release some of that, that tension and the testosterone that's building up throughout the weeks and practice and things like that. Have you ever seen or been a part of any training camp or preparations and scrimmages amongst your team?
Like fights?
Yeah.
All the time, man. Like what? All the time. There's probably, I don't think there's any. I'm trying to think the last time I played on the team and I wasn't involved in any fights. Maybe like my last year with San Jose Sabercats. I think maybe my last two, really last three, because I ain't fight with the Jets, but I did see some fights like Antonio Cromartie. I remember seeing him fight like Vidal Hazelton, and then obviously we gotta have our DBs back, but those things that's for sure gonna happen. Like when you got guys and they're competing against each other, and really what people don't know, and obviously like yes, you're on the same team, but offense and defense is damn near two different teams.
Right, two different worlds almost sometimes.
You don't really do a whole lot of interacting with the other side. You have a team meeting, and after that, you break up, and pretty much everything is like catered towards whatever side of the ball you play on, and then your position. But as far as like interacting a whole lot with the other side, it's not as much as I think people think. Right. If you like I was cool with Geno Smith, right? But we were rookies together. So like Geno Smith, I remember like Brian Winters, I might, go out with them or something like that, or we might hang out because we're all rookies, so we're on like the same schedule. So you might see that. But as far as like really kind of interacting with the other side a whole lot, you don't see it. So sometimes when they're competing like that, let's say Juwan Jennings was in that scrap. Well, Samuel Womack may never even hung out with Juwan Jennings.
Right.
Like, he might not even really talk to him like that, So, if a guy might get frustrated because you're doing something, it's like, bro, I don't even mess with you like that. And you're doing all this crazy stuff. So that's why you see that sometimes.
And I heard that the Niners were trying to get away from that. I know during I believe it was the Harbaugh year, like some of his last 2 years, he kind of mixed it up and put offensive players next to defensive players in the locker room to try to, get them to get to know each other. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan stuck with that philosophy.
That might help though, for real. Like that might help just every day in the locker, my locker mates, I had Muhammad Wilkerson, Quentin Coples, and then there was a tight end. Can't remember Conrad. Then there was a tight end a little bit, like a couple lockers down. But for the most part, it was like all kind of defensive guys surrounding me.
Yeah. So, guys, I want to remind you guys, this is a dual simulcast right now. We are on Nothing But Niners. If you guys are not subscribed to Eric Crocker's channel, please get over there and make sure you guys subscribe to his channel on YouTube. And if you're watching from Eric's channel and you're not subscribed to Nothing But Niners, make sure you guys come over after the show and make sure you guys subscribe, man. We want to spread the love, man. There's plenty of content to go around. We want to make sure everybody's getting as many views, getting as many looks as possible. Y'all don't want to miss this. You get very, very original takes from people, not biting their tongues and not holding back. So we're going to keep it going here, man. We got a super chat already to start the show. Eric, you kind of talked about this a little bit. You kind of teased it. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. My man Nick Donald with the first super chat of the night. Thank you for the super chat. He says here, what are your thoughts on the quarterback competition? Do you really think it's legit? Now, I'm going to tell you where this kind of question comes from, Eric, before you answer, right? They were saying that, Trey Lance was getting as many pass attempts as guys like Allen, right? Getting less pass attempts than Sam Darnold, right? Brock Purdy comes on the field for 2 of the 3 practices, and he's team one all day. They were saying Trey Lance, from my understanding, today was the first time he actually got on the field at the same time as Brandon Ayuk. And it was only for a couple of plays of his. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's a real quarterback competition? I think that's a legit question. Or do you think that it's just Brock Purdy's team and Lance is in there battling for the backup position?
Yeah, no, it's a real quarterback competition, but not with Brock Purdy. It's between Sam Darnold and Trey Lance. So it's essentially for QB2. And that's how they're kind of splitting their reps. I think that's how Kyle Shanahan is viewing it. I believe, again, if you just kind of go off of what Kyle Shanahan says and really just the vibe around the squad, it's all right. We're looking to see, Brock Purdy, let's get you up to speed, do your thing, get you back, you right. But Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, we're gonna let you guys duke it out. So that's just the vibe I get. There is a legit quarterback competition, but not with the first guy.
Now, if that's the case, if it's really a battle for the backups between Darnold and Lance, doesn't that imply that the Niners are out on Lance? Like you just a body here at this point?
I think that I wouldn't say a body, especially with the emphasis of him getting let's say like the when I was there yesterday, he got all the first group reps.
He who?
So, and I say first group because the way they were kind of rotating receivers, it wasn't like he's just throwing to Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, but he's the first quarterback, taking the snaps. And it had been
which he are you talking about?
Huh?
Which he are you talking about?
Oh, excuse me, Trey Lance.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So Trey Lance was, he was the first guy getting snaps. And then today was the first time that I had seen it or heard it switched where Brock Purdy got the first team snaps, and then Sam Darnold was the second team quarterback. And then Allen would get his snaps, and then Brock, and then Trey. So ultimately it evened out to where Trey Lance and Sam Darnold had this exact same amount of reps. And I think that's what they're doing throughout this entire time. Like it's going to even out to where they're getting the same amount of reps. And then Allen got, fewer than he got the fewest out of all of them.
Right. Now the Niners release their hype videos after every practice of certain passes and PBUs and things like that. And I'm going to be honest with you, man, from that clip that they showed, the most impressive ones that I saw were from Trey Lance, but it was one pass to Conley I saw that looked really good down the field. I saw one to Ayuk, actually. I actually saw him complete a pass to Ayuk. What was your takeaway from watching the quarterbacks and how they were working? I don't care about completion percentage and shit like that because, the reports are a little mixed. I keep hearing that Brock Purdy is doing a lot of short passes and stuff like that, but you got the other guys trying to show that, hey, I could do that and I could do the downfield stuff. So you got guys like Darnold and Lance and even Allen saying I could take shots accurately down the field. So I don't care about the completion percentage. That's going to be skewed based off of the attempts that they make. But which quarterbacks looked the best to you today? If you had to put them in order.
Yeah, Trey Lance, then Sam Darnold, then Brock Purdy, then Allen. And, just again, let's start at the top, right? And I'll kind of go through some of the things. Actually, I'll start with Brock Purdy because.
Now, to be clear, you got Brock Purdy in fourth based off of what you saw today?
Now, again, this is we're talking about one practice, and I think sometimes fans is like, well, blah, blah, he did this. Look at his winning. Look, I don't care about his winning percentage and how many games he's won or whatever. I'm talking about today. Tomorrow could be a new day, and he can kill it. And then, hey, he had the best practice on that day, right? But today, there were some things where I just wasn't quite impressed with. And then there were some things that showed up where I'm like, well, of course, like those things are something that might show up at times because of Brock Purdy's skill set. So first, let's start off with his completions and all that type of stuff. All right. What I'm seeing out there, because when I go, I don't track how many passing attempts, how many completions. I don't track that. It's just what's notable, what am I seeing, and what does it feel like? All right. They say he's completed 10 out of 14 passes. I would say that 4 of those completions that they're counting or more, right? They might have said he has 12. I saw some people say he had 12 completions, some 10, but let's say 10 or 12, whatever. 4 of them, in my opinion, were plays where he was sacked on and then just looked to check it down and threw the ball at or behind the line of scrimmage. All right. Wow. So that's 4 of them. So when people start talking about like completion percentage and all that, and he completed X amount of passes in a row, it's like, well, yeah, he completed, but he's not throwing the ball past line of scrimmage, and he was a little gun shy and held on to the ball. Now, some of this, again, we have to remember that this is a guy who has not really gotten legit reps and all that for a while, right? I mean, this was his, 3rd practice since tearing his elbow up in Philly. So it's not like he spent a whole lot of time working with these receivers and the offense and all of that. He didn't have OTAs, etc. So if there is some rust or whatever, I understand, but the way that it's being reported, I feel like it's just a little wrong. All right. So
what you're saying is that he completed the passes, but a lot of them. So what I said was accurate. A lot of them were short to intermediate at or behind the line of scrimmage, or just a little beyond it. And some of them were even would-be sacks, even though he completed the pass later.
There were some throws that I felt like he threw down the field, but I'm just talking about specifically like just overall with how it's being reported. I think is a little misleading.
Okay.
What I saw from him today. And again, I'm not as it pertains to all these guys, I mean, I want to see them all win. Like, I don't care. I'm a 49er fan. So I don't have any type of agenda towards Brock Purdy or Trey Lance or Sam Darnold or anything like that. Yesterday I said, hey man, I thought Trey Lance practiced extremely very well. I just thought Sam Darnold practiced better. You know what I'm saying? And I referenced, hey, Trey Lance had a really bad miss in the flat yesterday where he just missed Deebo Samuel, ball went over his head. Like, you have to complete that, right? I call it how it is. Today, I thought Brock Purdy had 3 very ugly misses.
Right.
One, he had Brandon Ayuk vertically down the field, and Ayuk really downfield beat Diamador Lenore by 5 yards, and Brock Purdy underthrew it. I mean, drastically underthrew it to the point where Ayuk had to like slow down, down there, stop. And because he had the cornerback beat so bad, the corner is chasing him, and the ball was so underthrown, the corner ended up just running into Brandon Ayuk. So they threw a flag for pass interference.
Right.
Never been pass interference. It should have just been an easy touchdown.
Right. Okay.
And then there was an out route that Brock Purdy one-hopped to a tight end, and the ball was so bad, I thought the ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it didn't. I'm like, that ball get tipped there. Like, no, I'm like, damn, like one-hopped it. And then before you can even blink, the very next play, he throws an interception to Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there was some of that, and then again, I talk about a lot of the short stuff, and when I say short, I mean like check down. I'm not talking about short within the offense with slants. So you had about 4 legit check downs, right? Now, outside of that, man, he had a beautiful throw. I want to say he had a blitz off the left side. He's falling back, and he kind of throws it kind of off platform, kind of whips it with anticipation to Deebo Samuel on the sideline. I thought that was a terrific throw from Brock Purdy. He hit Christian McCaffrey on a seam route, which would have been a 60-yard touchdown or whatever it was. Christian McCaffrey just left Fred Warner, just ran off on Fred Warner and just
show that in the highlight. Yeah.
Purdy did a good job of hitting him in stride for that. There was a nice bootleg play late in practice where he rolled out to his right and threw. I didn't see who the receiver was, but he was accurate there. So like there was some good, but some of the things that I saw that were bad, I was just like, it just looked more alarming than you would ideally like to see. So again, I talked about yesterday with Trey Lance. Trey Lance had one bad throw. I was like, that was not a good throw. You have to make that throw. Today, I thought Brock Purdy had several terrible throws, and then a lot of checkdowns. And again, we're comparing him to some of the other guys. So let's talk about Sam Darnold, and then I'll get to Trey Lance.
All right. So we're going to Sam Darnold now, you said?
Yeah. All right. So Sam Darnold, between yesterday, where I thought, and I even said it on my live, I said it on Twitter. I'm like, I thought Trey Lance had a good practice. I thought just Sam Darnold had a better practice. When you talk about the staples and Kyle Shanahan's offense, where he wants these balls, how he wants them, hitting guys in stride, for big run after catch opportunities. I thought Sam Darnold was on it. I thought the ball was coming out of his hand very well. He was accurate. There was nice zip on it. He looked confident. He looked in command. And I thought that carried over to today as well. He didn't have the splashy, big chunk plays like he did yesterday, but he was efficient. He wasn't just throwing a bunch of checkdowns. He was pushing the ball, vertically. He did throw a goal route, but Deebo Samuel was like locked up so bad, like there just was no separation, so it ended up getting broken up. Maybe could have threw it a little bit further down the field, but ultimately, I thought he was fairly aggressive with how he was looking to throw the ball. Did a good job, as did Trey Lance in the move the ball drill, where they both ended up getting points out of their drives. But I thought he looked good. I thought Sam Darnold. Again, I'm not saying that Sam Darnold is going to be this great quarterback or he's going to be the future 49 or anything like that. I don't know. I'm just reporting off what I saw yesterday, which was, man, he looked good. And if you would have told me it was Aaron Rodgers, I'd probably believe you. Like, oh, damn, that's Aaron Rodgers. Like, it looked good. It just looked good. Now, again, that's not – I got to keep prefacing this because I know how 49 fans get. And, I'm not saying he's going to ball out in games. Maybe he comes back down to earth. But what I saw yesterday and what I saw today was, okay, yeah, like he's a talented throwing quarterback who was playing in rhythm, looked good, looked comfortable, and is seeing the field well. And I thought that those are things that Kyle Shanahan would really like. So that was what I saw from Sam Darnold yesterday and today.
All right, now before you get to Trey Lance, let's go through these super chats really quick. So this is one of your subscribers here. Flavor's one of your guys here. He says here, "What's up, my dude? Our live video just cracked top 13 all time. Coming for that top spot. Thinking about throwing a top 10 party for the stands." Is this somebody that's in your streams often and frequently?
Yeah, no, he I had him on. Flav, if you ask most people, they'll say he's a Trey Lance hater. And if you go to his Twitter account, I think he has dedicated a lot of energy towards anything that can kind of be negatively said about Trey Lance. But I think having him on, I thought he kind of had a different perspective. And hate him or love him, I like sometimes hearing a different side of things. So, sure. I have a different level of how I would go about viewing Trey Lance than maybe Flav and some other people. But overall, I thought he had some valid points. And we had a nice little back and forth video.
Okay. All right. And he doubled up here. He has the next one here. It's his question. If Trey makes this team, do you think they'll use him as a scout team QB in case we ever go up against an inaccurate quarterback with mediocre speed? And right on cue, here's one of his shots at Trey Lance.
Right. And I will say this, I think, again, I can only speak for the 2 days I've been here. I haven't seen every training camp practice. I didn't see the OTAs practices. But Trey Lance is throwing the ball very well. Now, he did have the one that I said on the bootleg, the ball got away from him. I watched him work on that after practice. But, he missed that throw when it was live, and you can't do that. But outside that, he's been accurate. So, I don't know about all that. As far as scout team stuff, hey, if you're not the starting quarterback, you're going to be doing scout team. So if he does make the team and he's not the starter, he'll definitely be on scout team.
All right. Okay. All right, guys. Just you guys, reminder here to make sure you guys hit that like button on the both channels. All right. Make sure you guys subscribe and you got those notifications turned on so you know when we're going live, man. Y'all don't want to miss it. All right, go out there, tweet out really quick, let them know that we both live right now, man. Let's try to get this up over 300 live viewers, man. Come on, y'all. We right there at 280 plus. We can get there. Make sure y'all spread the word on your social media platforms and all that while you're watching, especially if you at home watching on your TV or you got the computer up. I know you guys got the phone. You guys got multiple devices. Let them know, man. Y'all are going to miss some good stuff. I got some feedback on the quarterback competition from some former 49ers players. I was told not to say their names, but I have some quotes here from people that I'm going to share during the show. All right. So, Eric, there today, giving us a breakdown of what he's seen over the last 2 days. Sam Darnold has been consistent. It sounds so far. You did the Brock Purdy breakdown. You did the Sam Darnold breakdown. It sounds like both of them are consistent at what they're doing. And out of those two, Sam Darnold has been more impressive than Brock Purdy. Am I reading that right with what you're saying so far over just the 2 days of analysis from you?
Well, Brock Purdy didn't practice yesterday.
Okay.
So prior to that, I don't know. But if we're just talking about today, right, and I like to just preference it because it's one practice. And if I was somebody who had no idea who any of these guys are, I would think that, again, I'm just watching a practice. I would say, 14 is better than 13. And I wouldn't really think much of it.
Okay.
But again, that's just one practice. And clearly there's more evidence in actual games that, sure, he's won a lot more. So I just want to make sure I kind of point that out.
No, absolutely, man. We're not going to be privy to, the decision making and stuff like that. But, this is why it's good to just get an honest opinion, an unbiased opinion of what's going on and what we're seeing. Okay. So, Eric, man, you broke down two of the guys. Let's go with who you have ranked as the better performer of the day, and Trey Lance, man. What'd you see from our guy, or from my guy? Let me say my guy. I know you're unbiased. Let me be clear before we continue. Whoever Kyle decides is the guy, I want him to be named the franchise quarterback, not just the starter for this season. So let me be very clear. I just want the Niners to get a franchise quarterback that we're going to run with for the next 5 years. I don't want to hear, the Niners were trying to trade for Kirk Cousins next season. I don't want to hear that they're trying to sign Kirk Cousins as a free agent. I don't want to hear that they're looking to trade up in the first round and draft another quarterback. I want to know that whoever they decide to go with this season is the guy going forward. Then we can start looking for improvements and so on and so forth. Right now, I am cheering for Trey Lance. I want to see Trey Lance with all the offensive weapons. I want to see him with those weapons. I feel like you traded up. You wanted to acquire this guy. You were ready to give him the reins last year. So I want to see what he can do. And this was before you even acquire Christian McCaffrey. I would have to think that opens things up even more for Trey Lance. But Brock is the household favorite right now. And it's hard. Well, I can't say that because it's going to be a quote later on. But Brock is the favorite right now. And that's understandable. You go out there and you win every single game that you played in and finished in. Let me say you win every game that you finished. It's going to be hard for anybody to put that guy on the bench. So I'm not mad at him being the favorite right now. But what do you see from Trey Lance? I want whoever's going to be the guy, I want Niners Super Bowl, period. I don't care who the guy is. It's not my decision. I can cheer for, or I can want one guy more than the other, but I want wins even more than that. So that's where my stance is. I wanted to be very, very clear. If it seems like I have a Trey Lance bias, it's because I'm really, really pulling for the young man. All right. But I like Brock Purdy. I like what he did. I like what he was doing last year. So, and I'm hoping they can improve on that. With that being said, Eric, what was your thoughts on what you saw from Trey Lance today and yesterday?
Yeah, so yesterday, and again, I keep going back, like he had a bad miss. It was a bootleg to the right. He has Deebo Samuel open, dragging across the field, and he just overshoots him. I'm like, you just can't miss that type of throw. Outside of that, I thought he was good. He was efficient, and he made the throws that he was supposed to make. Had a seam route for what in the red zone, 20-yard touchdown to Chris Conley. We'll get on him, talk about him a little bit later. But nice seam route, touchdown. He was wide open. Boom. Like he's wide open. You're supposed to hit that. He did that. He did a good job of that. He was, I think there was a miss on kind of a wheel route out the backfield. Elijah Mitchell, not even a miss. If the defender wasn't there, it would have been a very accurate throw and fell right into the breadbasket of the pass catcher. Unfortunately, the defender, who had to be Drake Jackson, was there and ran stride for stride with Elijah Mitchell, and he broke it up with like his shoulder. Like the ball like hit him in the shoulder right here.
So let me just stop you. That play made the 49ers highlight clip. And if I'm the Niners, I'm not putting that in there because he ain't even know that the ball was coming. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and it bounced off. He ain't get his hands up to block it and none of that stuff. But I understand that they want to show that their first pick of the previous draft was out there doing something different than just rushing the passer. So I do understand why that made the clip. I do appreciate it. But come on, man. Like that was right place, right time, but doing the wrong thing.
I get what you're saying. No, but it was cool just seeing him run vertically with the running back, especially a guy who has a lot of speed, so he's showing the kind of that versatility. That was cool. But yeah, he had that incompletion, and then I think there was like one more where he got batted down. Outside of that, he hit every other throw. Again, I said yesterday, I felt like, man, Trey Lance was good. Sam Darnold was better. Today, Sam Darnold was good. Trey Lance was better. Trey Lance was the more aggressive of the quarterbacks, like consistently just throwing the ball past the line of scrimmage. Thought there was a lot of checkdowns from other guys. He was throwing those intermediate passes, the staples that I said Sam Darnold had hit yesterday, where it's like, hey, you got to hit this guy in stride, the slants, the end breaking routes. Trey Lance was all over that, man. I mean, he was firing, hitting guys in stride. There was some throws where, and I saw one on the highlight where he kind of like had to kind of wrap it around the guy a little bit, throw it low and away from the defender who was all over Ray McLeod. He threw it to the perfect spot to where he had to catch it. I mean, so the accuracy was on point there. He was doing a really good job to move the ball, drills. I mean, he just looked confident. He looked in command. And, I hear, and I saw somebody talk about the Mike Silver thing. And he's like, yeah, Kyle made up his mind. Like, Trey Lance is QB3. That's tough because what I'm watching does not look like a QB3 quarterback. He looks like a guy that is like, yeah, I mean, why am I not playing? Like, why am I not in? Like, that's just what it looks like to me. From the 2 days, again, I want to continue to say that because there are other people that have been covering the 49ers and they've been at every practice and they watch guys in minicamp. I did not. From the 2 days I watched, here's the best way to sum up what Trey Lance looked like over the last couple of days. Whatever you wanted Trey Lance to look like when you drafted him, he's looking like that. Like whatever you wanted him to progress with like kind of how he's seen the field, and not being hesitant at all to like throw passes and, be accurate on those intermediate throws and things like that. Like the last 2 days, like he's been that guy.
So what you're saying is
to explain it.
So what you're saying is Trey Lance is developing.
Yes.
That deserves an applause. Come on, man. Come on. Let's give my man an applause.
That's the best way to put it. And here's the tough thing. And why I understand why Kyle has done some of the things he's done or said, and we could justify it, but not allowing Lance to compete at all with Brock Purdy, I think is a little wild. And this is why. First of all, you spent a lot of draft capital on him, and I know that's kind of water under the bridge. You did that, whatever. But he was your starting quarterback last year, and he broke his ankle, right? So he broke his ankle, and he's out for the rest of the year. And we're talking about week 2, like second drive of week 2. Breaks his ankle. Brock Purdy comes in, plays exceptionally well. He does a tremendous job, everything that you want. So if you were to say, hey, coming into this season, Brock Purdy is, he's QB1, guys will be able to compete. If Trey Lance shows something, then we can make it a legit competition. But right now, Brock Purdy's QB1. He earned it with how he played last season. And then, hey, these guys will be able to compete. And if Brock beats him out, well, Trey, you're just not good enough. And, whatever. You're either backup or we cut you or whatever. But not allowing him to compete at all. And then you look at kind of what he's doing right now and just what it looks like. I think you kind of, did Trey Lance a disservice and kind of this team a disservice, not allowing him at all to try to compete. So I know there were 2 bad practices in there earlier that people were reporting on where, you just kind of see the limited attempts. But outside of that, the other few practices, it looked like a quarterback that is heading in the right direction. I mean, like yesterday and today, it looked like big, strong arm, throwing the ball in good spots, doing what he's asked to do, made a play on the move, scrambling for a touchdown. Like it looks good. It looks good. And it sucks that for him that no matter what he does, it's like, nope, he's QB3 because Chris Sims and Mike Silver, that's what they're hearing. And there's no way for this guy to compete. And my thing is, if you feel like that, then trade him because what he's looking at right now, what he's looking like, and maybe there just was no trade value for him and no market for him. But what he's looking like right now, it looks like he's headed in the right direction for the things that you wanted him to get better at. And it's like, man, I put in all this work in the offseason. I worked on this. His throwing motion, I was curious to see, like, well, can he keep that going, like, when it's live? And, man, you watch any of these little videos that are putting out right now, and he's keeping it going. It's shorter, it's compact, and
he's got that. Yeah.
So it's like, man, he's worked really hard, and it's like, no matter what, you got no chance, bro. You have no chance to start. And I think they kind of did him a disservice a little bit by just not. And I'm not saying, he got to be QB1. I'm not saying, Brock Purdy doesn't deserve to get first snaps and all that, but to not let him compete at all after he broke his ankle. That's why he stopped playing. I think that's kind of tough.
If there's 3 things I learned last season and the season before, it was don't pay attention to Sims, don't pay attention to Mike Silver, and don't pay attention to Mike Florio. Apparently, you can't trust Mike, so maybe y'all shouldn't pay attention to me either, right? But they are giving trash-ass takes, like really, really bad takes, and they're doing it consistently at a really, really high clip. And I know that people took this whole Sims thing, that's Kyle's buddy. He's got inside information. It's going to be Mac Jones in the draft. Like he said it, bet it. People were laying money on that because Sims was the person who said it. And every time they say, he's got the match tattoo, listen, throw all that shit out. Throw it all out, man. They don't know. I promise y'all that they don't know. And this is going to bring me to one of my first questions now. So I have my notes here pulled up, okay? And it says mentally strengthening Lance, all right? Do you think that the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan's plan is, let me throw as much adversity at Trey Lance as I can right now to see how he reacts? Is this the beginning of the battle for QB1? Hear me out. You get hurt, and everybody says all offseason, Brock Purdy is the leader of the clubhouse. Not Mike's words, not Eric Crocker's words. These words came directly from the GM, and they were supported by Kyle Shanahan, the decision makers. The decision makers said this, leader of the clubhouse. Now, I like that. I don't have to explain to you, Eric. I heard it on. I said it on my podcast. I heard it on the Locked On podcast with you and my guy BD Peacock. Right, that is a golf term, leader of the clubhouse. If you and I are playing against 20 people and we're the first 2 to tee off and we finish our 18 holes first, regardless of what the other 18 people do, one of us is going to be the leader of the clubhouse in that moment. Doesn't mean that we're going to finish in first place. Doesn't mean we're going to finish in last place. It just means that at this moment, boom, right now, this snapshot, we are in first place. Okay, so keep that in mind with the leader of the clubhouse comments, right? Trey Lance goes through the whole offseason hearing this. And then they come into camp and they say, you know what? If we want to know if Trey Lance is mentally fortified, if he is mentally strong enough to take care of business the way that we want him to, we want to throw as much adversity at him as possible. Do you think that they are playing some sort of mind game with Trey Lance to say, hey, we're going to make you split second team and third team reps with two other quarterbacks, and you are clearly not going to get any first string reps when Brock Purdy is on the field? Do you think that this is some sort of test that he could or could not pass, or is it just, nah, Mike, I sincerely think he's just competing for the backup position?
He's just competing for the backup position. Kyle Shanahan doesn't play mind games. If it was another coach who I feel like tries to play mind games with people, then I would get it. Kyle Shanahan is very upfront and direct with what he expects out of his players and what the situation is. So he tells you, hey, this is what it is, and this is how things are going, and hey, this is what I like, and hey, man, I love this about Brock Purdy, and this, that, and the other. He tells you exactly how he feels. So I don't think that any of it is any type of mind games. Now, that would be a great way to look at it, though. You know, if that were the case, if he were like, you know what, I am going to throw all this adversity at him, see how he handles it. I saw that with Mike Martz on Kurt Warner. If you watch the Kurt Warner movie, which, by the way, I thought it was going to be this cheesy.
Nah, that shit was good, bro.
I was on a flight, on the Southwest flight. You know, they got the little free movies, and I watched it. I'm like, damn, this movie's kind of good. You know what I'm saying? But that's what Mike Martz did with Kurt Warner, where it's like, I'm going to talk crazy to you. I'm going to talk bad to you. You don't got it. You can't be this. And then it was just like, I just had to make sure you were ready. You know,
that's exactly where I got this idea from. That's exactly. So let me tell you, I just recently watched it, right? And it was the reason I watched it is because of this quarterback show. And I was like, yo, maybe I owe more time to these kind of films. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what I got. Like, could Kyle be doing that with Trey Lance? Now, here's my question, though, to you. You said Kyle's very upfront. Kyle is very direct. He doesn't play any games, right? When they drafted Trey Lance, to back up your point, when they drafted Trey Lance is not competing for the starting position. I do not expect any rookie to come in here and unseat Jimmy Garoppolo. He's too good of a quarterback to do that, right? Year two, this is going to be Trey Lance's team. We're looking to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo. Very, very upfront, right? This year, can you tell me any interview on radio, on 49ers.com, any presser, anything? Can you tell me one time where you have heard Kyle Shanahan say Brock Purdy is the starting quarterback?
Not to the extent of what you're asking. I mean, I feel like I've heard him say it with some of the way. Again, he'll say, like, you know, he's QB1, he's earned it. He's like, man, we watched his film. I even like what I'm seeing even more. Like, it aged great. It aged better. Man, we love all the stuff he's doing, you know, and he's, you know, he deserves it. He's getting, you know, QB1, and, you know, he's all that. And I believe he strongly expects him to be the starter. Now, I think the one caveat here is, unlike some of those other situations, Brock Purdy had an injury. So I think that's what it was more so about. Like, okay, a lot of him talking on these interviews is kind of like what he expects, but, you know, not 100% certain. So, you know, early in the season, we're talking about week 1, there could be a chance that, oh man, maybe there is some kind of setback, even though we're not expecting, but I'm going to leave room for error for that. So, yeah, I don't think he's been as, like, Trey Lance is our starter week 1 like he was last year, or Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be really hard to beat him out. Like, that's the guy. He's a starter until otherwise. So, yeah, I mean, I believe he's all in on Brock Purdy being a starter. And I think it would be extremely difficult, which he said, but I mean, we've been saying all along, it would be extremely difficult for anyone, Sam Darnold or Trey Lance, to unseat Brock based on what training camp versus regular season and playoffs. Like, virtually impossible.
Right.
And the tough thing is, because you watch practice today, and I have my own kind of theories, or not even theories, but my way of looking at it, you know. But not letting guys compete, I think I would have at least had them compete.
So here, Jeep Crackhawk, I'm going to say that you're incorrect. I'm going to issue you an official challenge. And I know that you are subscribe to Eric Crocker's channel. You don't know much about me over here, Nothing But Niners, and that's okay, right? But I'm going to issue you an official challenge. Send me whatever link you have, whether it be an article, whether it be a video where Kyle is saying that Brock Purdy is the starter. Not that he's the leader, not that he's going to get the starting reps. Find me anything where Kyle says Brock Purdy is the 2023 starter. Just find me one thing.
I feel like a lot of times, I mean, I know he did.
Listen.
A lot of times he kind of it's like kind of tries to stay away from that a little bit.
But he doesn't, though. He said it with Jimmy right after they drafted Brock. Jimmy is our starter. I don't expect a rookie to come in here and take Jimmy's job. He said it last year. Brock is our starter. I know we just signed Jimmy. It's not a controversy. It is Trey Lance's team. I'm sorry. It's Trey Lance's team. He was very, very definitive both of those years. I comb through this stuff with a fine-tooth comb. I obsess over this stuff.
One thing I will say about this, y'all. So we do have a lot of people in here from my channel. If y'all don't follow Mike, or if you haven't been listening to Nothing But Niners, which is crazy if you haven't, but Mike is a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I don't want to say conspiracy theorist, but Mike will he's gonna listen to what Kyle says, and then he's gonna look at things and look it up, and he's gonna dive into that. And I know you create some of your talking points off of that. So if Mike is challenging you, G, on that, I'd say he might be correct. Like I believe him. If you say he has never used those words, and this is coming from you, Mike, then I say, yeah, Mike might be right for real. And I feel like he's been telling us he's cute, but again, he's QB1, he's getting first team snaps. That's what you're saying, but he ain't never. You're saying he's like, he's not the defined starter. I just feel like with his actions and the way that he's talked about it, to me, it comes off very clear that he views Brock Purdy as like, this is clearly my starter.
Now, hear me out. You want to talk about conspiracy theory, right? Not only do I pay attention to what is said, I pay attention to what's not said, right? I just gave you my two examples. He was definitive. This is Jimmy's team, even though we drafted and traded up to get this guy. This is Trey Lance's team, even though we signed Jimmy back, right? I'm telling you definitive statements, not speculative statements where, he's going to be the starter in training camp, blah, 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 right? I'm telling you definitively, right? And that's not to diminish anything. It is possible that I missed something. I've been dealing with a lot this offseason. It is 100% possible that I missed something. So it's not a disrespectful challenge. What was his name? Blackhawk or something like that? G. It's not a disrespectful challenge at all, so don't take it that way. But please, please, please send me the link, because I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want to read it in context. And here's something that a lot of content creators and writers and Mike Silvers will do. Kyle will say something at the 49ers tribute to Dwight Clark, or at the 49ers State of the Franchise. He'll say, Brock Purdy went out there and did it, and it's going to be really hard for people to take him out of that number one spot. And then the next line will say, Brock Purdy is going to be the starter. But that's out of the quotes. Those words didn't come out of Kyle's mouth if they're not inside the quotation marks. So this is not a disrespectful challenge. I am asking you sincerely to send me that information, okay? We got
also,
two more.
Real quick, there are some people in here, and this is something that I kind of glossed over a little bit. But I see Raymond Martinez said, no, they asked Brock this question, and he said no when being asked if he's been named starter. So Kyle, he hasn't had that conversation with Kyle, like, oh, yeah, you're the starter. If you remember back to when Jimmy Garoppolo was a quarterback, I think in the public, they weren't really saying it. But remember, Jimmy was like, I know what the situation is,
Yeah.
It was clear behind the scenes, like, hey, you're the starter, you go about it that way.
Right. Absolutely. I've got two more super chats I want to get to, Eric. These are from people, again, from your channel. I don't want to disrespect them at all. I want to make sure I give them their shine. NG49 says, is Brock special, or is he Kyle's type of system quarterback? I think Trey can do all this and more. Kyle Lynch seemed thirsty, grasping quick fixes. # lemonade stand.
All right. Do you want to answer this first?
Oh, absolutely. I will 100% go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that Kyle Shanahan wants to win. Let me be very clear with what I'm saying. I think Kyle Shanahan wants to win. I think Kyle Shanahan also wants to create positionless football. I think Kyle Shanahan wants to be able to run 11 players out on offense and you have no idea what's coming. He wants to be able to put Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey on the field at the same time and then have them switch positions to see what that does to your defense. I think that Kyle Shanahan is tired of depending on a quarterback to be successful. Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt in 2020, 2020 and in 2018, and the seasons just go to shit. I think he's tired of that. I think Kyle sincerely wants to be able to say, hey, my first, second, or third string quarterbacks can come in here and win us football games and give us a chance at the big dance. I sincerely believe that. I think Kyle sincerely wants the best quarterback room, not best quarterback, the best quarterback room in the entire NFL. I sincerely believe that that is what he's trying to build on the offensive side of the ball. With that said, if Kyle wanted a guy like Brock Purdy or a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, which, by the way, I think they played eerily similar last year. I understand what Jimmy did in the previous seasons. You can blame it on the quarterback coach. You can blame it on Christian McCaffrey, the addition of Christian McCaffrey. Whatever your reason is, you can blame it on whatever. But 2022 Jimmy Garoppolo was very different than the past Jimmy Garoppolo. And 2022 Jimmy Garoppolo was eerily similar to Brock Purdy.
Michael, you don't answer the damn question.
I'm trying to. So with that said, I think Kyle wants more from the quarterback position. And I'm saying this because Brock and Jimmy were right there neck and neck, but there's a reason that he had Jimmy and wanted more. There's a reason he had Jimmy. He traded up and then said, okay, now that we're at this spot, let me look at the top quarterbacks and see which one is actually attainable. There's a reason he passed up on Mac Jones. If he wanted the Jimmy or the Brock style guy, he would have drafted Mac Jones. Kyle himself admitted that when we traded up to 3, I thought I was going to be taking Mac Jones because he was the guy that I felt the best about. But then we started doing some research, and I saw this young kid in Trey Lance, and I saw that he was this mold that he was this lump of clay that I could mold and get more out of. I don't think he's content with the style of play from Jimmy and Brock. I think he physically wants more from his quarterback. That's me answering the question.
So what's your answer to the question?
That was the question. He said,
I don't think you answered the question. Okay.
He said, is Brock special or is he Kyle's type of system quarterback? He is the definition of a system quarterback. Brock Purdy would not have been good on the Arizona Cardinals last year. I can't physically, literally prove it, but he would not have been as good. He is a great plug-and-play guy. He is going to go in there and operate in the means of the system. But when you get into a shootout, when you get in trouble, Kyle wants someone that can do some special shit with his arm. He wants a guy that can make a throw. I haven't seen that from Brock Purdy.
I don't think that's what Kyle, I'm not going to lie, bro. I don't think that's what Kyle – okay. There's all like, things we want, right? But then there's also things where it's like, you know what? I'm good with that. I want chick ass and titties. You know what I'm saying? Want all that. I'll settle for just ass or just titties. You feel me? I prefer just ass over the.
But that's settling. That's not the question.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Like, if you give me that, like, I'm good with that, right? When I think of Kyle, obviously he wants the guy, and he told us, big, fast, strong arm, runs like Lamar, throws like Drew Brees. Like, obviously, like, you want the prototype. Like, in your head, when you think of like the perfect quarterback, of course he wants that. But realistically, he knows I'm probably not gonna get all that, right? Like, I'm probably not gonna get the chick with the big boobs, big butt, flat stomach. Like, I'm probably not gonna get that, So it's like, okay, I gotta settle for something here. And he's like, oh, okay, Brock Purdy. Oh man, like, I like the way he sees the field. Man, he sees the field the way I see the field. Okay, man, like, he's able to make those intermediate throws. Cool. Oh man, look how okay, on the rare occasion I'm wrong, he's able to make a play off script with his legs. Like, cool. He do all the little things, and he's completing passes, and I know exactly what I'm getting from him. I think Brock Purdy is exactly Kyle's quarterback. Now, do I think that Brock Purdy is a drop back quarterback that you can just, hey, we're going to put you in shotgun and you're just going to throw the ball 100 times a game? No, I don't think he has the arm for that. I think that the system definitely, he benefits from the system, and that's fine. You can benefit from the system. Like if okay, I'm going to benefit from the system, but my play caller, he ain't going nowhere. He's my head coach. He's not going nowhere. I got D-Ball, I got Ayuk, I got Kittle, I got CMC, I got Juwan Jennings, I got Ray McLeod if I need him. I got, Trent Williams protecting my blind side. So I think with what Kyle needs in this offense, where it's like, hey, when that back foot hits the ground, can you get that ball out and be accurate with the throw? I think Brock does those things. And and then he gives you that extra little, he got the little little roughness to him a little bit, like, yeah, I'm him, banging on his chest, all that, right? He got that little dog in him. And when you hear Kyle talk about his preparation, it sounds like that's on point too. So I think there's enough things that Brock has where he fits in what Kyle is asking him to do. So yes, I think that he is a good quarterback for Kyle Shanahan in this offense. Now, I also think that got away with a lot of stuff last year.
Come on.
And I also felt like there were a lot of advantageous situations that is like, hey, I am good enough to take advantage of these things. Okay, we're playing Seahawks and you want to bust the coverage and nobody's going to guard George Kittle. Okay, I can throw it to him there.
Come on.
He can run after catch and run to the end zone. Okay, we're playing against the Seahawks in the playoffs, and I throw a 10-yard pass to Debo, and he just outruns everybody 75 yards. Like, there were some things where I felt like he did a good job of taking advantage of. It is more difficult if you ask me, hey, can he consistently make these shout out to my guy Haberman, but when he says like above replacement throws, like, can I count on him to consistently make above replacement throws? No. But
we saw that in just the clips today.
Yeah, right. But Kyle's probably thinking, well, I'm not going to need him to make those type of throws. I just need him to, like, hey, just be good with your timing in this. And if it's not there, just check it down to Christian McCaffrey. And can you do that? And he can do those things. There's throws that Sam Darnold and Trey Lance made that Brock's not making those throws. But he also wasn't drafted number 3 overall. So I don't expect him to
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I want to interject. You saying that, but right after a Super Bowl appearance, they were sincerely arguing about getting Tom Brady. Right after a Super Bowl appearance. So Jimmy was the puppet. So much so that Jimmy went to the podium all of 2022 and said, I'm sorry, all of 2021, 2022. And what did he say every time he got to the podium? I just execute the plays that are called. Jimmy was saying, Kyle is telling me what to do. Y'all don't get mad at me at the throw attempts that I make. We don't go downfield because Kyle don't call them. Jimmy was saying that at the podium. These are his words, not mine. That's why I'm excited that Jimmy is somewhere else. I want to see what he looks like. I want to see if Kyle
right now
has the reins a little too tight.
Right now, he's not hitting the he's not hitting the downfield throws, and they say he's kind of struggling with accuracy a little bit.
Jimmy?
Yeah, that's the reports out of Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have traded. I mean, I wouldn't have acquired him over Derek Carr, but that's me anyway. But I'm excited to see what he does this year, though. I am excited to see what he does. So, but that's kind of my point, though. What you're saying is, I don't think Kyle necessarily wants just a puppet, right? Did you watch the quarterback show on Netflix?
Every episode.
So you saw how Patrick Mahomes was going to Andy Reid. Hey, can we do this play? Hey, can we do this? Can we do this? I'm not saying Kyle wants that. I think Kyle gets frustrated with that. We saw Kyle as an offensive coordinator for the Browns when the head coach was like, all right, now we're going to run it. We're going to run it. Kyle gave him that look like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Kyle does not like to be told. Listen to
playmakers?
I haven't. I still got to.
So listen, and Donald was on with me yesterday, and you met. I mean, we stayed with you out there in Philly, but my audience got a chance.
Shout out to D.
Yeah, my audience got a chance to meet him yesterday. He came on. We were on for like an hour and a half or so. But he got kind of upset with Kyle over something I told him from about that show. And Kyle Shanahan, he out RG3. I think we all know that Kyle is heavily documented. Didn't care for RG3, like just did not want him, right? He actually wanted Kirk Cousins, and his dad wanted Russell Wilson, but the owner stepped in. You guys are drafting RG3, so he drafted RG3. And at some point in the season, and RG3 tells his story on the play callers, but at some point in the season, Kyle goes to RG3 and says, "Hey man, draw up a play, whatever the play is, and we're gonna run that play. Like you'll run that play, we're gonna implement that play, you're gonna run it in practice. Get your guys ready, walk through it, whatever you gotta do, but draw up your play and do it." So RG3's like, hell yeah. So he's like, man, I got this play from college. We used to run this play, whatever. And so, I taught it to everybody, stood up. Okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. They ran it at practice. It was a mess. Didn't work, whatever. Now they came back the next day, right? The next day, he's like, nah, we're gonna get this right. So he goes over with everybody again, and then he made it work. He completed the pass, whatever, right? And Kyle asked him, how did that feel? You did your play, it worked. Like, how did it feel? He was like, man, it felt great. He was like, that's how I feel about every one of my plays. So he just told him to do all that just to teach him a lesson. Like, I feel like all my plays will work, right? It's on you to make sure that it works. You know what I'm saying? So when you start talking about Kyle and the way that he views kind of his system, it's really more so about his system and his scheme more so than the actual talent. So he doesn't care that RG3 had a bazooka arm, is the fastest player on the field and all that. Like, that's cool. Right. Can you run this play the way I want you to? And if you can't, you're lucky that you're Snyder's pick, because if not, I would have benched you for Kirk Cousins, who I feel like can do at the minimum that. So when we look at Trey Lance right now, and this is why I feel like a little bit is going on, and it's been cool that Trey Lance is like coming along right now. But like, if you can't drop back foot hit the ground, let it rip, and be accurate consistently over the middle in these type of plays, if that's not you and you want to be this playmaker, right? No, I'm not feeling that. I don't want that. And I see somebody like he said Trey was horrible in that Chicago game. The crazy thing about that, and again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
He had some of the best throws in that game, like of I've seen Trey Lance do.
It was the monsoon. He was terrible. You know what? Trey Lance was terrible in the fourth quarter. He was. Now again, it was a monsoon. Prior to the fourth quarter, he wasn't terrible. If you go on right now and look at some of the plays and the throws he made and making plays with his legs, 3rd and 13, run for a first down, layer throw, vertically. I mean, when's the last time we saw a slot fade completed vertically down the field, hit Juwan Jennings on the money? Like,
come on.
Like, now you got the fumble inside the 5. That's tough. You know what I'm saying? Took points off the board. He missed that tight end leak play. Like, that's tough. Took points off the board. So there was some of that. But it really, like, as far as Trey Lance and his performance, he was just fine.
Right.
Quarter, and then he was trash in the fourth quarter. You want to say he's trash in the fourth quarter? I'll say that. Fields outplayed him in that game. I don't think there's nothing that Fields outplayed him in aside from 49 busted 2 plays and Fields took advantage of it. Outside that, if you look at their passing yards, if you look at their completion percentage, if you look at their rushing yards, if you look at rushing for a first down, there's no stat that Fields was better at than Trey Lance in that game. And I'm not saying Trey Lance played great. I am not. They both threw interceptions. I'm not saying he played great. But I'm saying he played bad in the fourth quarter.
Right. He picked the worst time to be bad. I completely understand.
He picked the worst time to be bad. I don't want to talk about that. That game is water under a bridge. But I'm just saying, like, when you hear people say that, it's like, I get it. Fans get really emotional about this stuff. I get it.
So I'm going to say to you what you just said to me. Can you please answer the question? Is Brock special? Or is he Kyle's type of system quarterback?
I think that he's Kyle's type of system quarterback.
There you go. Now, this comment here is from NG49.
He's a little special just in the sense of, like, the things that you can't, like, teach, right? Like, just his work ethic, his mindset. I think he has a lot of belief in himself. Like, I think those things, like, he's special in those intangible, like, just the preparation of, like, bro, I ain't really getting no training camp snaps, and these guys are hurt. I got to step in, and you know what? I mean, we gonna ball. we're gonna beat the Miami Dolphins. We're gonna go and man, I'm playing against Tom Brady. We're gonna beat Tom Brady. I'm gonna play
It's
well.
moxie.
Like
It's
I think
moxie.
his
That's the
mindset
word.
is special, and I think his preparation is special. But as far as his ability, there's a lot of question marks that I have that I want to see how it plays out this year. And I'm not saying he bad. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying we'll see. We'll see what that looks like.
All right, I like it, man. NG49 again with the other one. He says, I like Brock too. The hate at Trey Lance and Brock Purdy is childish. And I agree with him. I don't think we should be trying to pit these guys against each other. But I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, I'm curious. I want to see what Brock Purdy looks like with all the starters out there with him. I don't think that's wrong. And no matter what happens this season, let me just say this really quick, right? Let me just say this, and then we'll move on to the next topic, right? Eric, let me know how much longer I got you, too. I don't want to keep.
Hold on, Flav here. He's like, oh, Fields played against the best D in the league with no one. Trey played. Well, again, that's probably why Trey looked better in the sense of just throwing the ball and making plays. Again, more rushing yards, more passing yards, all that. You talking about Debo? Debo fumbled inside the 5. If he don't fumble, it's probably a different game. So again, I ain't going. I'm off that. But I know, like,
see, nobody talks about the Debo fumble in that game. They talk about Trey Lance's performance in that game.
It's whatever. It's whatever. It's right. Over. It's over.
And so there's certain arguments that you just keep.
That's why I push back. Like, because again, I like to be very even and fair when it comes to like my analysis on the quarterbacks, and I could talk about why something happened or why not or whatever. And I do that with everybody. I'll give anybody the benefit out, just like I just talked about. So one of the things that I felt was special with Brock Purdy, his preparation. Like, Brett, you weren't the guy. Then all of a sudden you got to step in and play, and you play very well. Like, I think that is legit special. Like, I can talk about that without even thinking like, oh, he's this special player, right? Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, just keep it a buck. And I feel like I'm very fair, but a lot of these people, man, they be making me like have to defend Trey. I don't want to have to defend Trey. It's just like, just look at some of the things they're able to do. Like, they talk about this dude, like they talk about. Okay, we're gonna keep it a buck now.
Come on.
Talk about Lance, bro. Like, he's this, like for Silver to write an article and it's like he's gonna get cut. What? So here's the timeline on Trey Lance.
It's disrespectful, man.
Disrespectful, bro. Like, for a guy that has such limited playing time, like he steps in the game that you need to win to go to the playoffs. Like, if you don't win, you don't go. He completed 70% of his passes, threw multiple touchdown passes, ran the ball well. You know what I'm saying? Like, had the explosive plays like through the air. Right, like he did some good things in his second start. The next time you see him, he live in a game, he's playing in the preseason against the Green Bay Packers. All he does is go 4 or 5 and throws a 75-yard touchdown play.
Right.
The next time you see him is against the Texans, and he wasn't great in that game, but he completed 7 out of 11 passes. He was running for his life because Jalen Moore and McKivitz was getting beat like a drum. All right, not as great. And then he goes to Chicago and he plays in the monsoon, and then that's it. So based off of that, it's like, he just can't play football. Like, he just can't play in the NFL. He's just gonna get cut. And then I watch him yesterday. I watch him today, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, he looked better than niggas, bro. Like, he looked better than niggas. Like, I ain't see a quarterback that's like, he just can't do it. Like, he just nah. He's making the throws. He looks good. Big arm, accurate here. Let me throw that. Let me move for it. Like, he's doing good. He's doing cool.
Yes.
Like, it don't look like that. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get tired of it, bro. Like, and I'm not one to. I don't even think it's about race. I see people be race. I don't think it's about race, but there's definitely an agenda. For a guy who has played so little, but has shown, like, dude, I can do some good things, and it's like, nah, like, bench him for the guy who has been trash in 55 games. We got far more evidence of Darnold being trash. Who, again, I think Sam Darnold.
And see,
I think Sam Darnold looked good in training camp, but there's far more evidence of him being trash than Trey Lance. And y'all give him the benefit that they can turn around over Lance. Like, to me, that shit's hella weird. And I hate the way the media, the Dove climbing nigga, like, who is this guy? I don't even know who he is. He got the little cartoon character thing, whatever. Like, the Dove climbing dude, Trey Lance struggled because one practice, Like, but don't
No,
nobody
no,
wants to talk
but
about what he does well.
he said that off of a David Lombardi tweet. That's what he said that based off of. He didn't say it based off of anything else. He
There's an
wasn't
agenda,
there.
bro. I've only seen this agenda on one other guy, like this, to this extent. All right, I've only seen this agenda on one other guy to this extent.
Who?
Tua.
Mm.
Tua, they killed Tua. They
Yeah.
killed Tua. I hated the handling of Tua. His rookie year, Flores. Let me play him. Oh, let me bench him. Oh, let me play him. Let me pull him out in this moment. Oh, let me do this. And then, like, he does some good things. And they talk about Tua like he just ass, like completely ass. It's like, no, he's cool, bro. He's come off an injury. Like, he cool. But he's the only person I've seen, like, the media just, like, attack that's even remotely close to Trey Lance. Like, with the limited play of this guy, the way they talk about him, bro, is wild. And I think it's very it's very irresponsible with like a human, like a kid, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, grown up, he got millions, like, cool, whatever. But the way they talk about this dude, man, I ain't never seen nothing like it, bro. I ain't never seen nothing like it. And
Say this.
That's the part where it's like, oh, I'm rooting for him.
Let me say this too. I think media finds a jackpot if you can find a highly drafted player that, for whatever reason, isn't living up to the standards. Especially if it's the quarterback position. And what I can't understand, and maybe it's because he wasn't drafted inside the top 10, is why they're not harping on the reports coming out of the Patriots camp right now. Matt Jones is a first-round pick who, for all intents and purposes, it sounds like he looks terrible out there. And I would think that the media would have a ball with that as well. But you get some guys who are drafted high, Tua, Trey Lance, and they're starters on teams, and they're not cutting it. Now all of a sudden you want to say they want to get cut. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You haven't seen enough to say that Trey Lance is bad. I agree with everything that Croc is saying. But listen, man, we got to keep the show moving. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the comments. Keep the super chats coming. We are not quite done yet. We're trying to get 400 now, man. We up at almost 390. Come on, y'all. We're trying to get the 400 live viewers. We just getting started.
Crazy, bro. The agenda stuff, man, is crazy. Like just the way that they cover it, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to like big up one person to put down another person, so I'm not gonna do that. But just the way I feel like the coverage on Trey Lance has been very, like, by the media is really wild. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Like, Darnold was watching yesterday, and he like, why are they talking about Trey like this? Like, we watched it. We sat there watching. He confused. Donald's confused. Like, why do they talk about this dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then we talk about they're talking about the Bears game. Donald talking about the Bears game. Like, bro, this dude throwing a 5-pound ball in the rain. Like it's a Nerf ball. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like it's nothing. Yeah.
Field and all this, and layer throws and all this. And it's like, why they talk about him like that? I'm like, bro, I don't know. So
I reached out to a couple of players. I'm going to read this quote to you. All right. I copy and pasted this quote. I have it right here. I'm going to read this to you, and you tell me what you think. So my question to him was, well, to them, it was multiple players that I sent this to. I got a couple of responses, but I'm going to read one, just one. The question was, have you been paying attention to what's going on in San Francisco at the quarterback position, and how do you feel about it? And he said, and I quote, now, I didn't say a name about Brock. I didn't say a name about Lance. I didn't say Sam Darnold. That was my question. What do you feel about the quarterback situation? He said, and I quote, I've seen what's going on with the Lance situation, not the quarterback situation, the Lance situation. And honestly, I don't quite understand it. But at the same time, I do. In a league all about winning, how do you bench the undefeated player? But also, how do you believe so much in a guy a year ago, and now he's getting reps, with the starters like a camp body quarterback? That was the most impactful quote that I got from the players that responded. Former 49, I did not reach out to just any player. These guys played on the Niners, and that was the response I got.
That's real. I don't know. I feel like, because Kyle, like, again, just to kind of answer at least my thoughts on what he just said, Kyle, he moves on pretty quick. Right. It was like, hey, yeah, we're not even gonna look at Tom Brady really. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Tom Brady, you might want to come here. Now it's cool. We got Jimmy G. And then it's like Jimmy G get hurt. Oh, we trading everything to go get a quarterback in the top 5. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Kyle, he's really kind of cutthroat with it. And he gonna move on quick. So I think maybe that has like kind of something to do with the way it's viewed, where it's just like, got something better. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I can think of. But he was right though too. You know, whoever that player was, with the, you know, the league is about winning.
Right.
It is. And if you feel more confident knowing that, hey, we can win with Brock Purdy, which he showed you could, then all right, we're gonna keep riding that. So that's understandable.
Okay. All right, we'll move on. We'll keep it moving. I want to get off the quarterback situation. I feel like we talked about that shit for like an hour, but it's going to be interesting. We're going to keep our eyes on it, man. And let me tell you, if Sam Darnold comes out on a depth chart or is ahead of Trey Lance, somebody in the 49ers organization should be fired.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, Mike.
I'm standing on that.
Darnold, again, 2 practices. He looks good.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
What? Trey looks good. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, but I don't know how Kyle is viewing it. I don't know if when he watches the film, there's a different way. But like, if I'm watching him, right? Let's say this. Let's say Kyle's like, all right, Trey's QB2. I wouldn't be surprised because it's like, well, yeah, you know, it looks good. If he's like, Sam is QB2, he beat out Trey, I wouldn't be surprised. There's a more surprising thing, again, if we just don't know anything, I would be more surprised if I have no idea who any of these guys are prior to this camp. I just watch them. How is the little guy playing over these guys? That would be more surprising if I had no idea who any of these guys were.
I did get a comment that said I saw. I'm summarizing here. It's not a direct quote, but he said I saw the stats from a couple of days ago, and I saw that Lance had the same amount of pass attempts as Allen, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I did see that. Now I want to get away from that. I want to get away from that. But here's my thing: if Sam Darnold and Trey Lance do exactly the same thing, as far as like just production, what measurables, whatever they're looking at, there's no way that Sam Darnold should beat out Trey Lance. People could talk about the $3 million in guaranteed money that Sam Darnold got. I hear that. I respect that. That's cool. But Trey Lance's overall guaranteed contract for being the 3rd overall pick is significantly more than that $3 million that Sam Darnold's going to get. I'm sorry, it is. So I just don't see why that should be an option, why that's possible. I just don't think it should work. I don't think it should work that way. Oh, hi. My girl's in bed already. I saw her.
Oh, yeah.
I saw her. It's cute.
That's one of them. There's another one over here.
All right. Damn, we got a couple of super chats coming in here. I wanted to ask you about a couple of other things. How much more time you got? I don't want to keep you too long.
Oh, we good. We good.
All right. So let's read the super chats, and then we're gonna issue some challenges to players. We're going to have a little bit of fun here. We're going to issue some challenges to players. Let's get to these super chats really quick. My man Alex says here, that fight got a little out of hand. I only caught the end of it. Couldn't really tell who it was, to be honest. What's your take on it, guys? Testosterone much? LOL. I met you earlier, Croc. You a solid dude. So first I thought he was talking about the Errol Spence and Bud Crawford fight. But then when he said, I met you earlier, that suggests to me that he was at the open practice with Eric Crockett.
I met Alex earlier. Yep.
So what's your take on it? I can't respond on it. I didn't see the fight. So what's your take on it?
Man, I mean, training camp fights happen. I mean, just fights in practice happen. It's guys competing. You get enough guys like truly competing against each other. Sometimes the tempers flare. They might be hot, sweaty, whatever it is, and somebody might be tired or something. So I get it. It is happening. I didn't seen it so much. I just know it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens, man. You know, and that's part of football. It's okay. I do want to ask you this question though, man. I remember joint practice. We got to see Jim Harbaugh. No, was it a joint practice? Harbaugh ran out on the field and got toppled by players, right? And then on the sidelines, he started wearing cleats in case he had to run out there and break up a fight. He said his footing was so bad, he started wearing cleats on the sideline. My question to you is this: were there any coaches running out on the field to break up the fight, or did they just let that scrum go?
Again, there was a lot of people there. I mean, that got involved in it. So, and Alex can attest to this. I mean, we're talking about 30, 40 guys. That kind
Are
of.
you serious? It was that bad?
Yeah, it was a big brawl. That's what it looked like. So, you know, once you got guys that start scrapping, guys are going to jump in, and guys from both sides are going to defend their guys. Then coach is going to jump in trying to, you know, break it up.
So the coaches did go out to help.
There's, you know, it's kind of hard sometimes to tell who's a coach or not. Like, you know, you got guys wearing like the all black.
Oh, so staff went out. Non-players went out.
Yes,
okay. That's what I wanted to know. Okay, all right. And yeah, to the last part, Croc is a solid dude, man. Croc has always kept it 100 with me, man. He's told me when he thought I was tripping. He's told me when he thought I was spot on and everything in between. He's even instigated some beef with me sometimes, man. He was like, "Go ahead, Mike, I don't feel it." You know, and it's funny because Croc was doing that with people that he cool with. I'm like, "Yo, what you do?" Like, come on, man. But
I'll just be funny, man. Like, look, I think it's at my age now. Like, you know, I'm just kind of enjoying life, man, and I like to have fun. And some things that, you know, I think is funny. So, you know, I'll poke fun at stuff. But at the end of the day, man, I love everybody. So.
Nah, it's all good, man. As long as nobody getting hurt, you know, it's all in good fun, man. My man Eric Hernandez says here, and I quote, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like this negative press started with Cowherd and Mike Silver during Trey's rookie year. Is that where all this started? And I know that the first person I heard talking negatively about Trey Lance was not Colin Cowherd. I saw a lot of local guys saying, why can't he beat out Jimmy Garoppolo in camp? Why isn't he the guy? The Niners traded up all of these assets, and you still don't get to start. The Niners are in trouble. Guys got to remember that this was before we knew about the finger injury. This was before we learned about him having to learn how to just hold and throw a football again. I heard that first. And then the word came out that Lance broke up with Cowherd's daughter. And then I started seeing all the Cowherd stuff. And right after that, Mike Silver started piling on. But I will say, in my honest, unbiased opinion, Cowherd was not the first person that I heard dumping on Trey Lance. Eric, what about you?
I feel like it was Cowherd, because at first he was high on him. Then all of a sudden it just kind of flipped. Now, as far as the local people, man, and we got to, you know, kind of talk about that. Jimmy Garoppolo is a good NFL quarterback. And to think that a rookie, any rookie, I don't care what rookie it was going to come in and just day one be better than Jimmy Garoppolo and beat out a guy who had been to, you know, a Super Bowl and played very well when healthy, that to me, that was always a stretch. I feel like if you want Trey to start as a rookie, you got to get rid of Jimmy, because Jimmy's good enough to like be good. He's a legit starter. Like, he's made a lot of money in the NFL. So to expect a kid, Trey Lance, who was 20 years old when he got drafted, to beat out Jimmy Garoppolo, it's like, bro, that's not happening. Like, what are you on? That was just in the wrong situation to put him in. Think about Anthony Richardson. That's the quarterback, right, for the Colts right now? Still got Gardner Minshew on the team with him, not Jimmy Garoppolo. You know what I'm saying? Like, so people that were upset that Trey didn't beat out Jimmy G, like, well, Jimmy G was an experienced veteran quarterback that won a lot of games. He wasn't going to beat him out.
Yeah. Sorry, Croc. All right. So, you know, I mean, I don't know who started it, but it's still continuing. And it's kind of annoying. So it is what it is.
It's very annoying. Just because I don't think, like, for any player, it could be anybody, right? It could be Man, it could be, I don't know, it could be any player. And
Honestly, I wouldn't want to see the media dumping on a guy like Sam Darnold like this. Like they are intentionally piling on Trey Lance, and I don't like it. I don't like it. And in all honesty, I have an underdog mentality. I've been a Niners fan for a long time. I became passionate about football around 2009, 2010. And so we were always underdogs. We were always the least favorite to win games and all that. So I developed that mentality. I was cheering it for my guys when nobody else was, right? And you know, I remember Nolan. I remember Singletary. I remember what's my man's name with the porn stash? What's he farted at the press conference. What was his name?
Tom Sula.
Tom Sula. Yeah. Like I remember cheering for my guys when nobody else would, right? So I developed that underdog mentality. That's kind of why I'm also going so hard for Trey Lance. I love when guys prove the masses wrong or the powers that be wrong. I don't think, you want to know something crazy? I don't think the masses are cheering against Trey Lance. I think it's the figureheads. I think it's the people with the biggest microphone. I think it's the people with the biggest audience going against Trey Lance. But,
and then, of course, like the things that they put out there, then that's what the narrative that everybody, like, if this is all I see, then, okay, well, that's what's going on. Like, they don't, they're not going to know. So now the crazy thing is, because how well Trey has done over the last couple of practices, and even the first practice that he did very well.
Right.
You don't hear anybody post or talk about that. So then the narratives of, like, all they're going to see is if tomorrow Trey Lance goes, 5 of 12 and throws an interception, they're going to hear about that. And then it's just like, he only completed one pass the other day, and then he's below 50% and throwing 2 picks this day. He's trash, but they'll never hear about days like today where it looked like he's the best quarterback on the field.
Right, exactly.
Or maybe they do hear about it, but they're not going to report it to where everybody hears about that. That's the wild part.
Mm-hmm. I want to do a segment here. We're gonna issue challenges to players. We're gonna pick a player and we are going to challenge them to something. All right. So I'll go first. I'll give you an example of what I'm doing. I want you to think about it here, and then I want you to come back with a player. We'll probably do 2 each, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. So the first challenge that I'm going to issue to a player is going to be a challenge to Dre Greenlaw. All right. I was doing a show a couple weeks ago, and Wayne said that, he was talking about the best linebacker on the 49ers, and he did not say Fred Warner. He said Dre Greenlaw. And I challenged Wayne. I said Dre Greenlaw is not better in coverage than Fred Warner. They're asked to do 2 different things. If they had to take one of them off the field, it's not going to be Fred Warner. Like, Dre Greenlaw is just not a better player than Fred Warner. But here's my challenge to him. Overcome what I said. I want you, Dre Greenlaw, to lead the team in tackles. I want you, Dre Greenlaw, to have more sacks than Fred Warner. I want you, Dre Greenlaw, to make players and fans put some respect on your name on what you can do in coverage this season. Is this a contract year for Greenlaw?
Next year.
Are you sure? All right, but either way, I know he just recently got an extension, but it's coming up. I want you to start laying the groundwork for you to be one of the top 5 paid linebackers in the NFL, even if it's not with the Niners. Greenlaw, I am issuing you a challenge. Do not accept second fiddle to your Fred Warner. Show the world that you were just as good as Fred Warner. I am looking for a Willis Bowman, both. Like, when we had both of them guys clicking, oh my God, the Niners were dangerous, man. That's what I'm looking for. I want you, Dre Greenlaw, to come out here and show everybody why you are here on this team, why this team extended you, and why they should extend you going forward. So that is my challenge to Dre Greenlaw. Play second fiddle to no man. I don't care if it's all pro Fred. Make them put some respect in your name this year. All right? So I want to issue 2 challenges. That's my first one. Eric, the floor is yours if you can come up with a player that you want to issue a challenge to.
Yeah, I want to issue a challenge to Brandon Ayuk. I think that Brandon Ayuk is a terrific receiver, extremely well-rounded, probably like the best overall skill set that the 49ers have, just in the sense of like being a pure receiver from a route running standpoint, catching the ball, etc. I think he does all that great. I want to challenge Brandon Ayuk to get better at the 50-50 balls. I think he's had several opportunities to come down with some of those. And I feel like when there's like a little bit of distraction there, you don't see him come down with those. So I want to see him improve in that area. And if he does that, we are talking about a bona fide wide receiver 1. And he has all the ability in the world. I mean, this guy that just they can't guard him at practice.
Yeah.
So like I don't even pay attention. Like practice now, like they can't guard him. I'm curious to see how the 49ers are going to utilize him. And if they feature him the way I feel like he can be featured, I think the one thing that he has to improve on is that like legit 50-50 ball. It's in the air. I got to jump. I got to go over somebody and get it, and I got to come down with it. And that's one area I feel like he can improve. So I'm going to challenge him to come down with those.
Very good, man. I like that. And this is going to go really, really well into my second challenge, man. This is going to go perfect into that. Debo, I got a challenge for you, bro. I want you to prove to everybody in the NFL and in this fan base that you are not offensive weapon, but wide receiver 1. Everyone has sat here and praised you for the shape you've come into camp with. Kyle talked about all the topless pics that you sent him. You flashing my man, and he didn't even want it. You know what I'm saying? I want you to not just show the physique, not just show the determination in the weight room, but show it on the field. I want you to put a little bit more. Uh-oh, what just happened?
Oh no, your camera flipped. Uh-oh. Am I still live? I don't know what happened with Mike. Mike been having all the technical difficulties. Y'all still got me? Dang, and I can't even change this camera. Oh, there you go.
You got
He's
me?
back. All right, yeah, he's back.
Oh, what the hell happened? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, I think my tablet died, so I'm gonna jump in from my phone real quick.
Okay.
It's all good though. It's all good. I apologize.
Listen, what the hell happened to you just
Y'all get full screen here. All right. Y'all got the Chick-fil-A cup in the picture now. Can you hear me though?
Yeah, good.
All right, cool. So my challenge is gonna go out to my guy Deebo Samuel. Everybody has been saying how Deebo is wide receiver 2. You know, he's a top 5 offensive weapon, but he's not the best wide receiver. I want to challenge Deebo on the front of, I want you to go out there and run those really, really good routes. I want you to start creating some separation. Eric Crocker came in here and talked about an underthrow from Brock Purdy where he had 5 yards of separation, right? I haven't seen those clips from Deebo. I haven't seen those clips from Deebo. I haven't seen those highlights from Deebo all training camp where he got 5 yards of separation on anybody. Deebo, this is your challenge, man. I've been really, really, really hard on Deebo since the negotiations for his new contract, and I want to apologize. Make me earn that apology, Deebo. All right? The floor is yours, bro. I want you to go out here. I want you to do your thing. Make me say, hey, I was wrong. Deebo was right. He is truly the wide receiver 1 on the 49ers, and it is not Brandon Ayuk.
Ooh, and that's good. Well, he's gonna have to start working on it because I ain't gonna lie. Today, 101s strapped up, not creating no separation in the 101s. So, first rep, I want to say he went against Diamador Lenore. It was strapped on the comeback. He tried like a 5-yard stop route. And you got to get him going upfield, man. You got to get him turn his hips, really get him going upfield. Best way to do that is try to change pace and then sit the route down, but it didn't work. It didn't quite work. So, but he did. The end around, yeah, he gonna get all those. All right, my next challenge. I'm gonna challenge Kyle Shanahan. I want to challenge Kyle Shanahan to not just, obviously like have a quarterback, whoever it is, Brock Purdy or whatever. I know he wants the quarterback to fit into his system and kind of be that robot, but I would love to see Kyle just loosen up a little bit and allow his young quarterback, Brock Purdy or whoever, to play a little bit more free. Let them be a little bit more of a playmaker. And I know this sounds crazy, challenging a guy who's been to 3 NFC championship games in 4 years. He's won a lot of games. If the 49ers fired him right now, he'd have a new job by tomorrow. NFL teams would fire their coach right now that they have in camp to bring in Kyle Shanahan. So it sounds crazy to think like, oh, Croc, you challenging him to improve at something, but I would like to see him like loosen up a bit.
Okay. Eric, man, old computer has a question. Croc, is this your new spot for streams now?
Nah, I guess when I'm out here, we just my wife and I just got a townhouse in Stockton, so I still have my office and everything. I have my house that I own out in Arkansas, so I'll probably be back there this weekend.
My man Croc with the 2 spots, man. Let's go, baby.
It's not ideal, man. A lot of traveling, not ideal, but yeah. So that's why if y'all see this kitchen, y'all know, oh, Croc's in Stockton. And if y'all see my normal background, it's like, okay, Croc's in Arkansas. So
all you got to do, bro, in all honesty, go on Amazon. They got a $29.99 green screen. You put whatever background you want there. They won't even know you're not home. You can take a picture. You can take a picture of your normal office and set that as your backdrop. I promise you. I've done it before. I've been sitting outside and put my couch as the background on the green screen because I didn't want people to know I was outside. I wanted to smoke cigars and stuff. I can't smoke in my house. My wife doesn't play those games. You know what I mean? So I wanted to do that. But that's nice, man. I like that you challenged Kyle Shanahan at the end there. Eric, man, that's gonna do it for the show. You know how I like to end things, man. I want to get your final thoughts on just whatever it is, man. Let people know where to find you. If you work on anything special, any projects, where you want them to follow you, where they can find you, all that good stuff, and we're going to get up out of here, bro.
Yeah, man. Y'all can find me on Twitter at Eric_Crocker. That's typically where I interact a whole lot with everybody. Aside from that, you got the YouTube channel. Just type in Eric Crocker. It should pop up. And, I just want to, I guess my last thing I want to say, man, is I hope everybody's watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. Good back and forth with my guy Mike as always, and it's fun, man. It's fun creating content. It's fun talking football, and I think today the chat allowed us to do more of that. And yeah, man, I'm excited for this football season. That's the one thing I am most excited about. I get tired of the storylines and all that. That's not me. I want to talk about what's going on the field. Like, what am I seeing on the field? What's going on the field? What do the players look like? I know I had to pay a lot of attention to the quarterbacks over the last couple of days, but I can't wait to really get into some of the other guys who I think have been playing very well. We didn't even talk about it, but Chris Conley.
There you go. Give him shine. Come on,
Chris Conley, and I've been looking at the rotation, trying to see who kind of sneaky doing their thing or whatever. And he looks to be in the second group. Now, he is a veteran, so if any of the younger guys start to really step up, the veteran's going to be the first to go because their money becomes guaranteed week 1. But Conley, man, just continue to try to see, what his role might be. And there's people today that are like, oh, Brandon Ayuk with this catch. Brandon Ayuk. Nah, it's Conley. It just looks like Brandon Ayuk. He's just a little bit bigger than Ayuk. But watching Conley and what he's doing, that's fun. Like I want to talk about those things. Ronnie Bell. I was a person that, clear. I was not high on Ronnie Bell, but I've been watching Ronnie Bell, the way he moves, very fluid, the way he's catching the ball. He did really good in the team period today, where he had caught like 3 straight passes from Sam Darnold, I believe it was. So, those are things that we get so caught up in the quarterbacks, we don't even really get to talk about like those guys. But I'm excited that football is here and we can dive more into, what players are doing, why things are happening a certain way, and not have to make up some, wild storylines in the offseason. So.
All right. I like that, man. That's very well said, man. Watching the unexpected positions, man. I told everybody, based off of this draft class and the Niners roster, I would be surprised if 2 guys made the 53-man roster from the draft class. I would be surprised if 2 guys from the undrafted free agency pool made the roster because the Niners team is just so stacked. But Eric, I do want to ask you this question before we get out of here. We officially have NFL football on our TV on Thursday in just 3 days from now. How much of the first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game, do you actually watch? Because I'll tell you the truth, I'd be really excited for it. Football is back. I'm ready to watch it.
I put it on, and after like the first 7 minutes, I'm like, all right, I don't care. How much of the first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game, do you actually watch?
Oh man, I'm probably gonna watch the whole thing, to be honest. Like I love football. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, like I love football. Like, people like when I go to these practices, right? And it's clear, like, man, these are 49er fans,
Yeah.
like even at the practices, it's like they're ready. And me, obviously, like, I do love the 49ers, but like I'm a football fan before anything. So the Hall of Fame game, obviously you have a certain like level of excitement just when the kickoff happens, but there's a lot of these players I watch in college and cover through the draft, and I look forward to kind of watching those guys. And as a guy who was a bottom of the roster guy trying to make it, I look for those guys and see who kind of stands out and who's taking advantage of certain opportunities. So yeah, I'm probably gonna watch all of that.
All right, man. I like it. I like it a lot, man. Guys, my final thoughts are this, man. Let's spread love, not war. If you guys know of anybody out there that is doing positive things in the community, in your personal communities, I'm not talking about sports. If you know anybody doing positive things in your personal community, 1, go out and support them. 2, spread the word about what they're doing. It could be some kind of fundraiser, homeless shelter stuff, whatever it is, man. I'm all about uplifting the local communities. Let's go out there and make a difference in our respective communities, okay? So that's going to be my final thought. If you guys aren't following Eric Crocker already, I doubt it, but you guys should get on over there. Head on over and follow Eric Crocker. If you're watching this on Crocker's channel, I am Mike of Nothing But Niners. I appreciate you guys checking us out tonight. I had a really, really good time with Eric's, with your crowd. I can see their comments. They put this little symbol in there, so I know whose comments are coming from who. You got some guys over there that I've never seen their names in my chat, so it's very, very interesting. Those guys are intelligent. Those guys are baiting. They are throwing some bait out there in the comment section, trying to get responses to it too. I see it, and I like that, man. Those guys are master baiters. Huh? What I just said? I called y'all master. All right,
that's crazy.
All right, guys. I had a lot of fun though. Thank you guys for the time. Thank you guys for the consideration, and most of all, thank you guys for being yourselves. All right, that's gonna do it for us. We're gonna get up out of here. Prepare for glory.
Remain faithful.
Oh no, you don't got it right.
No, prepare for pain.
Prepare for glory.
But always remain faithful.
Anticipate pain.
Oh.
But always remain faithful. It's okay. I got you, bro. I got you. We out of here, y'all. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing.